Okay.
I'm not signing nothing.
Okay.
I've been through the system, buddy. I know how
I know
it
you
works.
have. I know you have,
You're
Jeff.
not my friend.
Yes,
All you're trying to get is some stupid-ass confession, and you're not going to get one.
One evening in 2011, which seemed ordinary at first, alarm bells started ringing in a local 7-Eleven. The local police department received reports of an armed robbery, but when they arrived at the scene, the suspect had already escaped. They widened their search and heard some noise in a nearby house. Without any other clues, they barged in and found a known heroin addict with a gun. They arrested him and took him for an interview. This addict was Jeff Pearson, the actual robber, and he managed to outsmart the cops in one of the rarest cases in history, even while suffering from terrible heroin withdrawal. This is the story of how the suspect fooled the cop. The next 24 hours were recorded by the police cameras in the interrogation room, but unlike most similar videos, this one was uploaded by the suspect himself to his YouTube channel on September 25, 2011. This was the first indication of what made Jeff a cult hero and a legend in the interrogation community. Jeff was in police custody for almost a day, but the total footage of the 3 interrogation sessions was only about 15 minutes. Considering that the robbery and arrest happened in Georgia, where the usual sentence ranges from 10 years to life without parole, Jeff got away with a miracle. Instead of spending decades in prison, he spent a day enjoying drinks and candy, while showing how to handle police custody like a pro. The following footage reveals in amazing detail what tricks the cops will use on you and how to avoid them like a champ. The footage begins with Jeff sitting in a small windowless room, wearing prison clothes. It is obvious that he has been processed and spent some time in a cell, probably while the cops were collecting evidence and getting ready to question him.
Am I under arrest?
For now.
I'm under arrest?
Yeah, I'll explain everything, but before I explain myself to you, before we talk to each other, I need to read your rights, okay?
What am I under arrest for?
Well, like I said, I need to read your rights first. Obviously, the charge is robbery, okay?
Jeff starts by asking whether he is under arrest and why. It is clear from the beginning that Jeff knows what he is doing, as this is exactly what you should do in this situation. From there, you have 2 options. If you are not arrested or detained, you can say that you are not obliged to stay and answer questions, and you should be able to leave the interrogation. If you are arrested, you can immediately ask for a lawyer and remain silent until you get one. These options give you the best chance to stop the police and prepare the best defense possible. What is funny is that when you are arrested in America, the officer must legally tell you this. Listen to the Miranda warning that this detective gives to Jeff.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we question you. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer and you want one, a lawyer will be provided for you. If you decide to answer questions now without a lawyer present, you'll still have the right to stop answering questions at any time. Does that make sense? You've probably heard these before, haven't you?
These 3 points are crucial, but many people ignore them because they are too scared when they get arrested. Also, because we hear these lines so often in media like police shows and movies, we don't pay attention when they read us these rights. We don't realize that they are giving us useful information that can help us stay safe and protected in police custody. What the detective didn't say, though, is that if you ask for a lawyer when you're arrested, they can't keep questioning you. You have an absolute right to not answer any cops had nothing on him. Otherwise, they wouldn't be talking to him at all. So he kept quiet and was sent back to his cell. But 2 hours later, he was brought back to the same room for round 2.
You want a Coke? You gonna be able to pop it open, or you need me to?
I need methadone.
You need methadone? I don't have any. Do you have a medication for it, or a prescription for it? What do you need methadone for?
I'm a fucking junkie, and you guys, I can't get no methadone. I'm gonna go through withdrawal here in a minute.
Before going back to the interrogation room, Jeff only asked for a can of soda. But he soon mentioned the withdrawal symptoms he was probably feeling. Methadone, the drug he requested at the beginning of the conversation, could help him ease the withdrawal effects and even the cravings. He had likely been suffering from them the whole time he was in police custody.
How long you been using heroin?
Long time.
10 years? 15 years?
I hardly been alive that long. What are you trying to talk to me about here?
Talk to you about what happened last night. Look, here's the deal. Either you're in a bad set of circumstances, or you went and committed an armed robbery last night.
Yeah,
right?
I'm in a shitty, wrong place at the wrong time, obviously. I didn't commit no fucking armed robbery.
All right, then let's talk about this. Let's
I
not
don't have
keep
nothing.
up
I
the
don't talk
act.
to the police, man.
Jeff has had enough of the small talk and wants to focus on the main issue. He thinks he is innocent and wants to leave as soon as he can.
Okay.
I've been through the system, buddy. I know how
I know
it
you
works.
have. I know you have,
You're
Jeff.
not my friend.
I'm not your friend.
You're trying to fucking get me. Or you're
No,
trying
I'm not trying to get
all
you.
you're trying to get is some fucking stupid ass fucking confession, and you're not gonna get one.
Jeff, I'm not going to get a confession out of you for nothing.
Exactly, because I
And
didn't
I'm
do
not
nothing.
trying to get a confession out of you.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you, I didn't commit no armed robbery, and y'all ain't got no fucking evidence saying I did. Let me go. All you did is find me sitting in my buddy's house because my fucking buddy's dog's going ape shit. I go outside, there are cops everywhere, and they spotlight me. They say, "Come here." I say, "What's up?" They search me. They ain't find
Hang on.
nothing. What's
Let
up?
me read this.
No,
Yes.
because I'm not gonna sign it.
You don't have to sign it. But let me read it for you. Okay?
I'm not signing nothing.
You don't have to sign it.
The irony of this cop claiming he's not trying to get Jeff while having him handcuffed in an interrogation room is quite amusing. Despite the circumstances, every part of Jeff's response seems almost rehearsed, showcasing an incredible display of personal legal defense. What's even more impressive is that Jeff is likely experiencing withdrawals. I'd like to highlight Jeff's point about how cops often attempt to force confessions. One of the primary techniques used in these interrogations is the raid technique, developed by a former cop and psychologist in the 1960s. This method involves 9 steps, starting with a polite discussion about the suspect's accusation. It then employs specific body language and actions to convey guilt. Finally, the suspect is presented with 2 alternative statements, one slightly more acceptable than the other. Whichever statement they choose is counted as a confession, even if it's false. Interestingly, the original case that led to the development of this technique fell apart when it was discovered that the man had not actually killed his wife. It's a prime example of next-level gaslighting.
Tell me what happened last night. Plain and simple. Your side of the story.
I'm not talking to you.
All right. This is what I don't understand.
I told you this
I know,
before.
but this is what I don't understand, Jeff. You were sitting there talking just like you were ready to sit here and tell me what happened last night, and then all of a sudden I read that to you and you screw it, I ain't talking to you. I want a lawyer. I don't understand that. What changed just in the...
Because I told you what, I already told you what happened.
You didn't.
How didn't I?
You didn't tell me what happened last night.
How didn't I just tell you what?
But now you've handcuffed me, and I can't talk to you because you've asked for an attorney. So, okay, that's fine. But I will tell you right now, you're still on a hold for robbery.
I know. I don't know why. I need a fucking lawyer because obviously I didn't do nothing. And obviously you guys know I didn't do nothing because I've been arrested for the same bullshit before and you guys don't interview me this much. So, wham bam, thank you for the coke, put me back in the cell.
We
That's
haven't
my home.
interviewed you yet.
Jeff has now requested a lawyer and is once again declining to answer questions. However, we're only halfway through this footage, and Jeff's skill in defending himself and thoroughly dismantling the cop continues to improve. Stay tuned for more. Here's to Jeff's unwavering resolve.
But, you know, if you're saying you didn't do it, you need to give me your side of the story.
I didn't do it.
Okay, well, give me your side of the story. You got to convince me. Because I got a lot of evidence. I got a lot of physical evidence.
Well, like what?
Why should I tell you that?
This is the point where the detective's desperation becomes evident. Aware that time is slipping away, he discards any elaborate techniques and instead resorts to direct threats. His focus shifts to intimidating Jeff with false evidence that could easily lead to a conviction. Ordinarily, if these claims were true, he would use them to provoke panic and extract more information from Jeff. However, he opts for a feeble argument, asserting that because Jeff hasn't cooperated, he won't reciprocate by helping
There's
Jeff.
only a couple pieces of evidence I'm missing.
Attempt to strike a deal, and even resort to scare tactics, taunting him with the harsh reality of returning to prison without the drugs he's become dependent on. Throughout it all, Jeff remains completely stone-faced, knowing he's on the brink of something significant.
I'm done, man. Fuck this. I'm not even answering. All this shit that I just said is gonna be fucking written in the discovery now, right?
What? You haven't said nothing.
I mean, every little stupid thing that you've asked me, dude, is gonna be in the discovery.
I'm not even gonna do discovery.
The prosecutor is.
Okay. You halfway know the system, how things work, we halfway don't. Am I right?
I half-ass know
Yeah.
that the only reason I came up here is to get a fucking Coke.
Okay.
And I got it. But now I want a Butterfinger.
But that's not gonna happen for a while.
What, the Butterfinger?
Yeah.
Why not? I need to go to the hospital. I'm coughing up blood. Let's go to the hospital.
Over the past few hours, the police relentlessly interrogated a man who was clearly suffering. They denied him access to the legal prescription drug that could alleviate his pain and repeatedly questioned him about a crime for which they lacked any evidence. Throughout this ordeal, Jeff remained remarkably composed, casually requesting sodas and chocolate bars. Jeff understood that any misstep in his words could lead to dire consequences, so he skillfully asserted his rights. Remarkably, after 12 hours, records indicate that he was released from custody and sent on his way. Subsequent reports reveal that Jeff began to turn his life around. He kicked his heroin habit and now spends his time uploading content to the same YouTube channel where this video was originally shared.